Hey guys, before we start this, I just want to say that all these things I'm going to be saying are not canon, nor am I assuming this character does have autism. I'm only saying this because some people online may have came to the conclusion this character may or may not be on the spectrum. But the things I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt. Just know that I'm not confirming anything or anything I'm saying is official. It's just what I have on my mind. Nor will I be making fun of this character, but only saying good things about them. So, yes, you have been warned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Comfort Characters Ep.4. Today, we will be talking about Nonny from Bubble Guppies. Now, I really wanted to talk about this character because of remember what I said in my very first Bubble Guppies review, how I wanted to say some things about Nonny on during April. Well, this is what it is. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm basically going to be talking about why I think Nani may be not maybe on the spectrum, but the show hasn't really confirmed it. Also, I'm going to be talking about why I love him so much and how he could be a good role model for actually real life autistic kids or people in general or fans or fans that love the show. So, um, I I mean, we all know not, the orange guppy with the guppy with orange hair and blue glasses, but I feel like he may be more than just he may be a little bit more um special than we think. And I don't mean special in a bad way. I mean special in a good way. What I mean is, I think some people have came online to theorize, especially on TV tropes. Everywhere I look up Nani, people are saying he may be on the spectrum. And and I know what you're thinking. How could that be? But I was kind of skeptical myself. But then I took a closer look at the show, and he does some things that you would kind of see autists, kids on the spectrum do. Like now, now I don't now what I'm about to say here. I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. Heck, I mean anybody could do these things, and they're probably not on the spectrum. So do not do not come for me what I'm about to say. Okay, all right. So first of all, we have first of all we have well, this is the big kicker. Nani doesn't really smile. He doesn't smile much, and when he does smile, notice that he doesn't really smile like the guppies. He doesn't. The way he's animated to smile, he doesn't really smile the same way as the guppies, you know. And I know what you're thinking. Well, I know they have the same model design, but you have to really think about it, you know. Really think about how he kind of smiles in his own special way. And along with that, think about it. He rarely says hi to the viewers, you know? You know? Like the only time he ever did that was in I believe um I think the only two episodes he did that was 3 episodes was in Haunted House Party, Humongous Truck, and the Sizzling Scampinis. Those are the only three I can think of. I think those are the only ones he says hi to the viewers. I could be wrong. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But um, then we have him being incredibly smart. You know, and sometimes I especially like him with Una. Not not. No, I don't mean in like I mean in like a totally platonic way. I mean that like whenever she doesn't know anything, it's good that she's sitting right next to her. He's sitting right next to her, and I actually have a theory. I listen. If he was on the spectrum, if he was, if he was, I think Una may be that type of person. Like you know those type of people that are like they're like really good friends with like people who are on the spectrum. Like I know tons of people who are like um good friends with people who are on the spectrum, and they like them and they're with them not just because they're on the spectrum, because they see them as a really nice person. They're fun, they're really smart, they have their own interests that even other people who aren't on the spectrum can relate to and can learn a thing or two from them. I feel like Una may be that type of companion, you know? And if she was, that's really good representation. But of course, we don't have no confirmation of that. But I just, but if, but we can't. I mean, we don't really have any confirmation. So I just see him and Una as just the best of friends. You know, real good friends. Like whenever she doesn't know something, he'll be there to correct them. And I know we have that little controversy about how he doesn't really say her name a lot. I mean, I think the only time I can think of he said his name, he said her name was in the game, in the mobile game. I don't know if it was a mobile game. Animal School Day, and then the episode and in the season 5 episode Super Baby. Those are the only times I could think of at the moment. There may be more that he said her name, and I mean sometimes I know some people who are on the spectrum. They who are really good friends with somebody else. Sometimes they don't really say their names, the person's names that they're hanging out with most of the time, on the spot. So maybe that could be, not saying that it's wrong for not it's wrong for him to say Una for it's wrong for Nani to not say Una's name. I'm not saying that at all. Nor am I saying that every somebody who's on the spectrum is like this. I'm just saying, from what I've seen. From what I've seen. Then we have our next point. Well, his glasses. Yes, I know. He wears glasses so that he can see. But this leads me to another theory. Some people who are on the spectrum, they have some sensory issues. Sometimes they don't like how certain things feel, or how certain things or like they're so used to like a certain schedule, or like if the tiniest thing in their schedule is different, they'll know about it and they won't like it. So I think his glasses are a representation of that. Yes, we have confirmation in the episode Come to Your Senses. He needs his glasses to see. Yes, I know that. But I want to go 50-50 on this theory, because if he was on the spectrum, and the whole sensory theory I'm about to say is, um, what if he wears those? I was thinking before, about I was about to rewatch Come to Your Senses for this video. What if he wears the glasses because he has a sensory problem with the water in his eyes? You know, what if that's the case? Because we have a POV view of him looking at Molly and Gil, and he's looking at them like very blurry after he cracks his glasses with the ball he's playing with, you know. But then that leads me to this. I don't think that's really the case, because I mean, if he did have a sensory problem, if he did, wouldn't he like be wearing like something something over his eyes throughout the whole Come to Your Senses episode to not make him feel the water on his eyes? If he did have a sensory problem, don't you think Mr. Grouper would give him something to cover his eyes firsthand? And he goes through the whole episode not really complaining about his eyes, only complaining that he can't really see. That's his only problem. Not nothing about the water in his eyes. So I kind of want to debunk that theory. And then we have, um, and then we have, um, some things I can say that, like, if some things I'm about to say right here, he's not. He also could. I don't really want to say he's on the spectrum. Some things that can kind of debunk this theory of he could be on the spectrum. Um, well, one more thing. One more thing. The way he positions himself, like, sometimes like it's like an illusion. Like when he puts his arms to his side, like it makes his hands look a bit bigger, a little bit bigger. You know, it makes his hands look a bit bigger. So and also sometimes people who are on the spectrum they will have like a their own special way of sitting, and it's not like Nani doesn't know how to sit still. Like he does sit still, you know. He sits just like everybody else sits. So that's another thing I want to debunk. You know. Now onto why he could be on the spectrum, but at the same time he could not be. Though, though I'll explain it to you. I'll explain. But okay, so loud noises. Okay, if he was on the spectrum, don't you think all the times where he was hearing loud music, for instance, in the episode We Totally Rock, there was like a lot of loud music, you know? There's a lot of loud music. And um he would have like don't you think he would have like some noise canceling headphones and stuff like that? And he didn't even hesitate of performing in the show. But if he did want to perform, don't you think he would have like some sort of ear gear to like cover up the noise in his ears, like like all that music going on? But I will say, the only time we do see him have some sort of negative reaction to noise is in the episode "The New Year's Dragon," where the part at the parade where there's like the drumming and stuff, the drumming at the parade. Gobi and Gil, they like it, but then we see Nani clearly covering his ears. But to be honest, not I'm not no, don't take me wrong when I say this. Anybody who isn't on the spectrum can can cover their ears to loud noises. You know? Anybody. Anybody who who's young, who isn't on the spectrum could like cover their ears or like no, loud noise to scare them, you know? And then we have um and then we have one last thing I want to talk about, and that's what would the show do? How would if the show was still on the air? Sadly it's there's no sadly it finished its run like summer 2023. But if Nani was on the spectrum, how would the show like how would the show like couldn't like anybody on the show like confirm it? Because we don't have anybody on the show, nor voice actors, no developers, no um executives confirming that Nani is on the spectrum. You know, confirming that he does have autism. But if he did from the start, would if he was confirmed to be autistic, would the show still be the same? And was the network scared of having an autistic character back then? Because from all the educational programming I've watched, I haven't really seen anybody like confirm of a character being autistic, you know? Cuz like after like said characters revealed and after going on, we would see like these different headcanons and stuff like that. Headcanons about oh, he or she may be on the spectrum. He or she may have autism. And it's ironic that us fans have to have to come up with somebody who may or not be autistic. I just want to know, like, why would it would it not be okay to show someone autistic on on a Nick Jr. show? Because nowadays that's totally acceptable, you know. And I find it kind of sad that um I mean the show's over now and we don't. I mean, the only thing we can go by um is looking in depth on Nani, and also um like not making any assumptions, because like other people who could be watching this, like if they just flat out say, "Ooh, Nonny's autistic," like we want to be sure. We don't want to like make any assumptions because I feel like if we make assumptions, it can not only lead to the wrong message that that the creators are don't want to have an autistic character on on a kids show, but also it can lead to other people who are on the spectrum like me who feel bad about it. But that's not really I don't want that to be the case. So this whole video was for me to this whole video was basically me saying how much I love Nani, how he's just a really great character. Any anything that he's in, any scene that he's in, he's super duper smart. He's super clever. I also liked how in season 5 and 6 of the revival run, how he became that he got some villain roles, some antagonist roles, like well not really villain roles, but like being like a sidekick to said villains in season 5 and 6. I really like that. And also I also appreciate that like, you know, if the if if fans want to believe what they can't believe, if they want to believe Nani's autistic, that's totally fine. If they don't want to believe he's autistic, that's totally fine as well. I'm able to see both sides, you know? But at the same time, don't go assuming. Don't go assuming of somebody who may be something that I don't want to say you want them to be, but like what I mean is um, really look in depth. Make sure that you're getting the right information. Make sure you have the right amount of evidence to claim what you want to really claim. Because if we just make assumptions and stuff like that, we can't really be sure of what, you know, we don't want to jump into conclusions. But yeah, that's basically all I want to say. So I love Nani, and um, if you guys don't know, from my last character, comfort character, review, I reviewed uh a confirmed autistic character, which was Twyla from the Monster High Nickelodeon series, and now I'm talking about a character who may or may not be on the spectrum. So yes, this is why I felt like April was a really good time for me to actually like talk about Nani, you know. And honestly, I feel good about this. I feel good about talking about, you know, giving other people something that they can think about, you know? Because, you know, he's cute, he's fun, he's really smart. What I mean, he's just a good role model for kids. What can I not say? And also, my dad used to call me Nonny before the show even came out. So whenever me and him would watch the show together, we would be like Nonny, Nonny, because he called me Nonny, which is really sweet. And yeah, I don't know which comfort character I want to do next. I'll probably put it up in a poll. I'll probably do a confirmed autistic character along with the headcanon autistic character in the poll, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.